What's up, guys? I hope everybody can hear me here on YouTube. I really hope that this video is going okay. Welcome in here to Rover Sports, guys. Welcome to the damn show. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking to you guys. To comment, Bari, what's going on, pal? Can you hear me all good? Am I okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Tell me I am okay. Tell me that you can hear me, Bari. Jabari, what's going on? I wanted to talk about Ben Mcadoo. Quick shout out to my boys over UCF Jaguar and my friend UCF Jaguar and Jet Central. Both of those guys killed it on their season previews. Yes. What's going on, y'all? What's going on today? About 20 minutes of topics today. We're going to be talking about Ben Mcadoo. I just heard about this a couple of days ago. We're going to be talking about Big Ben and how's everybody doing here. It's always fun doing this video as a live stream, and you guys can always go back and watch it. And for the season, we're going to be doing live streams primarily all the freaking time. So subscribe. And, of course, subscribe. I'm also going to Atlanta pretty soon to try to film some more interviews. So those will be more interviews on my channel. But let's get to Ben Mcadoo, shall we, guys? Let's get to Benny Mac. And then I'll also look at y'all's questions. So Ben Mcadoo, the thing about Ben Mcadoo, and it was a New York Post article. And what I'm going to say about Ben Mcadoo is everybody who knows this knows how I feel about Ben Mcadoo. Everybody knows how I feel about Ben is that I think he's, he lacks social skills, but he's kind of a jerk about it. Some guys are quiet dudes, which is fine, but some people are just dicks. And I kind of think Ben Mcadoo is kind of a dick, right? I kind of don't like Ben Mcadoo. He thought that he's the shit, and he thinks everybody else that's not sucks, right? So that's Ben Mcadoo for you in a nutshell. So we really got some inside baseball into Ben Mcadoo, meaning that we really know exactly what Ben Mcadoo was thinking here. And I do give him credit for this. A lot of coaches will not be truthfully honest with opinions about things. And at least Ben Mcadoo said some opinions. And believe it or not, I agree with a few of his opinions, okay? So Ben Mcadoo, he basically trashed Weston Richburg and Justin Pugh, all right? He trashed those guys. He said it's good that they got rid of those guys. They made the moves that were necessary. But then he talked about Nate Solder. He said, I don't think he's a very good player. That's fine. That's going to motivate Nate Solder. That's going to just motivate him to do better in the offseason, okay? But then here's interesting piece is Eric Flowers. He says Eric Flowers is not built for the NFL game. He can't bend. He can't move, which Giants fans, they kind of agree with. He was a bad left tackle. The 10th picker went Jerry Reese. It was a failure. But the thing is, Ben Mcadoo was responsible for scouting Eric Flowers. And guess what else? Ben Mcadoo said Eric Flowers sucks. He can't bend. He can't move. Guess what Ben Mcadoo did for Eric Flowers' career? He kept trotting him out to left tackle. So why would Eric Flowers want to be coached by a guy that believes he sucks? Would you guys in your own life, would you want to be coached by somebody that behind your back thinks that you absolutely suck and have zero chance of succeeding? And if you're to the point of no return, why in your right mind, if you think that the player is incapable of achieving the responsibility, why would you continue to track him out there at left tackle if you basically just admitted that he was not good enough to play left tackle? Why do you have Pugh and Richburg on your offensive line then, Ben Mcadoo, if you said that they're bad players in this interview? You're period. Ben Mcadoo also says that the Cowboys are not going to be good. And for that, I kind of agree. I think the Cowboys are stale. Trask as a player. Byron Jones is a pretty good player, but their offense is not exciting enough. I want to see them get another quarterback, or Dallas, if they're going to be good, maybe a new coordinator, a new head coach, something new. The Redskins are stale as well. He also said the Eagles are going to be battling with complacency. And for that, I also agree. I think it's very hard to back up a Super Bowl run, especially your first ever championship. I think it's very hard to string together great years and be very consistent. I think Carson Wentz has an opportunity to be very good and help the team in place, but complacency is an issue. Now, with Ben Mcadoo, what is interesting about what he also said is I think he's trying to motivate the rest of the NFC East, because he wants it to be like if the Giants win the NFC East, he doesn't want it to be a surprise, because he wants to feel validated that he put this talented team together, him, so that basically if they won the NFC East, Ben Mcadoo for his next job can say, well, Odell Beckham was hurt. Well, Eli and all these guys got hurt. We lost the game on a miracle kick by Jake Elliott. We were right in all these games. Manning, there was pressure from the owners. I had to start this old quarterback. So he wants the Giants to do well. He also wants to motivate the rest of the NFC East and the Eagles to beat the Giants so that Shermer won't do as well either. Because if Shermer also sucks, then Mcadoo could say, see, the team was in deep shit already. So it's all kind of it's all part of a PR stunt by this dude to get back in the coaching, which is kind of what Ben Mcadoo was trying to go for here in this interview. So that's what I got to say, guys, on the Ben Mcadoo piece. I appreciate him being honest, but there's so much of it that I just laid out that I did not appreciate. Thank you, guys. I am wearing an Iowa Hawkeye shirt tonight. Yes, we are going forth with the live stream, and I'm also going to do another one coming up pretty soon where I'm going to tell you guys award picks. So I might do all my award picks later on tonight. If you guys have any more questions, shoot them at me. We have training camp in about, maybe 2 weeks, I hope. 2 weeks of training all season. I am trying to do something where I'm able to watch all of the games, and I want to be live during every 1 o'clock game so that we can watch absolutely everything together and we can comment on Niners, Giants games, all sorts of games. Also going to be doing some preseason vids as well. Daniel Floyd, are you from Iowa, man? That's awesome. We have a Pack fan. He's from Iowa. I was wearing an Iowa State Cyclone shirt too. So I'll talk about the Hawkeyes a little bit. I really like Missouri Valley Conference basketball. I've always liked Iowa. I've liked the Midwest for a while. You know, Ricky Stanzi, CJ Beffert. There were some good Iowa players, like Sean Green was a good Iowa player. The Cyclone, the Cy-Hawk rivalry is a great game, but I'm not really indebted to anybody from the state of Iowa. I liked Paul Rhodes. Paul Rhodes is a great guy. He wasn't that great of a coach, but the best pump-up speakers that Iowa State ever had. And Matt Campbell's going to do tremendous work for the Iowa State Cyclones. And Daniel, absolutely, I'll talk Cyclone football. I think that nobody really respects Iowa Big 12, and it's awesome that Matt Campbell decided to stay in Ames. I think it's absolutely perfect. And imagine if you can make your football program get as much enthusiasm as Hilton Magic and Hilton Fieldhouse. So absolutely. RK is in the house too. One of my favorite guys, RK Belmont. He comments, Mackle doo-doo-doo. He is one of the worst head coaches in the history. Like, I'd rather even have Jim Tomsula, because the thing about those guys is at least they're not pricks. You know what I mean? So, you know, Tomsula is really bad. Let's try to think of other coaches that were totally, totally awful. Yeah, Ray Handley. So, Jeff, you probably go way back towards the Giants days, because I think it was, Bill Parcells, or we were going to hire Bill Belichick, and then Ray Handley, I think, took over. But the interesting thing is, with the Giants is, they even had trouble beating the Eagles in the late 80s, and it's just so interesting kind of how that works. So, yeah, I mean, the NFL, right now, like Adam Gase is not that good of a head coach. John Fox, though, John Fox at least had some equity in this league. He took Carolina to some really successful seasons. He got them to a Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme. So, you mean best coach to never win a Super Bowl? I think Andy Reid, maybe. Andy Reid would probably be my the top coach that was never able to win a Super Bowl. Maybe the coach of Buffalo in the 90s with the Buffalo Bills. So I'm trying to think of who was a terrible, terrible coach. I mean, Caldwell was okay, but Tom Sula was a flop. Chip Kelly was a big time flop. Andy Reid, that's the thing. He doesn't show urgency. He doesn't take those chances in the playoffs. He's not a great game day coach. He's a great preparer, great offensive coach, very good offensive coach. But in terms of defense, in terms of actually getting, his team ready for a championship, in terms of making a big fourth down call, he doesn't have the urgency that Doug Peterson has. So Marinelli, is not a great – I think he's an okay offensive coach, but I don't know if he's amongst the worst offensive coaches. I mean, Vance Joseph's been a pretty bad coach thus far. Marty Morningweg's another one. But, yes. Douglas, our boys. Todd Bowles. Yeah, there's some bad AFC coaches that are out there right now in the NFL. Jeff Fisher was a guy that didn't develop players either. He was kind of made it to a championship game, a Super Bowl, but that was kind of fluky as well. Completely agree. So you want to talk about Jeff Brom? So you're a Packer fan. You're also a Boilermaker fan. You guys have all these quarterbacks at Purdue. At least it is better than all the other coaches that you've had at Purdue. You guys have some decent recruits at Purdue. I do like the two quarterbacks that you have, Sindelar and that kid. I forget his name, but Blau's a good player too for Purdue. But I'm not the biggest Brom fan because I think Brom is a little too temperamental. And you guys started off really well. The win over Missouri was great. You guys definitely had some success beating Minnesota late. So I'm not sure about that. Oh, Mike Singletary. That's a good one too. Mike was absolutely crazy. Kind of a good motivator, actually. But for the 49ers, that's a good one. Mike Singletary, really funny guy. Definitely some classic stories with Mike Singletary. We had Mike Smith as a head coach who wasn't that good. Kubiak, Wade Phillips wasn't a great head coach. So, yes. Daryl Hazel, of course. Yes. We will be doing college football videos as well. Let me look up NFL coaches to get fired in the past 5 years. Do this for about a couple more minutes, and it's funny because people are going to come here for the Ben McAdoo video, and you guys have heard about the Ben McAdoo video. We have some Cleveland. Oh, Mangini. That's a funny one too. I mean, Eric Mangini was terrible. So if you just do Cleveland Browns, if you do Cleveland Browns coaches, that could be interesting in itself. Mike Pettine was a terrible head coach because he didn't have the personality to be a head football coach. Mike Pettine, you know what I mean? He didn't play Johnny football at all and got really freaking pissed off because he never played Johnny football at all. And he didn't know how to handle Haslam. Yeah, I mean, Matt Schaub, though, Alex, I don't think he was ever winning a chip. I don't think that Matt Schaub was ever winning a chip. Bill O'Brien, totally overrated. I mean, took Penn State. What he did with Penn State was tremendous. We all hear about how he's this quarterback guru, yet he has a tremendous defense. Let's see him win some damn playoff games. Completely agree. He gets a free pass from the media all the time. His PR guy is working overtime. He hasn't really done much in the NFL. Absolutely. That's a great call there. Patine, he did, but with Brian Hoyer, Patine's going to be a good defensive coach for you guys. I think Patine is a great defensive coach, but like Philbin, there's certain guys that just are not CEO types of guys, and you kind of have to be a CEO guy. It's so funny, right? Matt Schaub, he was okay, but I never liked his game. Like, I never thought he could win in the playoffs. And then he just started throwing all these pick sixes and everybody made fun of him. It's kind of like a Joe Flacco development where somehow once the media gets a hold of you, like Nate Peterman, and you have those types of games, once the court of public opinion on social media gets a hold of you, to come back from. But there's so many guys like Tannehill, like Joe Flacco, even Stafford to a degree, where you could just survive being mediocre in the NFL. Where you could be a quarterback, you could be okay, and it's harder in this day and age. But back in 2008, O.J. Howard, I think, can have a pretty big season. I want to do a mock draft either with some of you guys or some YouTubers as well. I want to do a fantasy draft. That would be really cool. Yeah, Marcos, that was a rough time, Juan Castillo. But O.J. Howard, I think, is going to have a really good year. And what we should probably do is we should probably do a whole episode talking fantasy football on the live stream. So O.J. Howard, though, I think he's going to be good. He was from Alabama. I was really high on him before the draft. Like, he's going to be a solid player. And Cameron Brate's just going to absolutely help him out. So thank you guys for joining the live stream. I'm going to head out now. Thank you guys. Probably should have just recorded maybe an 8-minute vid on Benny Mack, but those are my comments on him. Had to get to the live stream. Appreciate y'all guys, and I'll see you guys soon. We'll try to do this as much as we can. We'll see you.